Hi guys, how are you all doing? Welcome to your Wimbledon final preview 2023. I am your tennis. This is the tennis world with your tennis expert. I am your tennis expert. I'm going to be previewing the Wimbledon final for you, Djokovic Alcaraz. Let me just quickly go through the semi-final. It'll only take 1 or 2 minutes on this. If you don't want to hear it, move forward 1 to 2 minutes in the video. So the first semi-final, Sinner Djokovic 6-3, 6-4, 7-6. I mean, the first two sets were decided by one break. It was mostly unforced errors that gave those breaks away. And then in the tie break, we got to 4 points all. Sinner was the better player most of that set. 3 unforced errors. Good solid tennis from Djokovic and consistency. At times, Sinner played well, matched Djokovic, but some errors at critical times. Both of the breaks and at the tiebreaker at 4-all, with 3 errors there, that cost him. Your second semi-final, Carlos Alcaraz Medvedev. Alcaraz just overpowered him with the forehand and just pushed him around, dominated him, served well, attacked Medvedev's second serve, got control of the points from both his serve and attacking Medvedev's second serve on the return, overpowered him with the forehand, and then he used, like with Medvedev standing too far back, he was able to take control of the rallies, he was able to finish off the net, he'd drop volleys at the net and catch Medvedev out standing too far back, he'd drop shots at the back of the court, catch Medvedev out for being too far back, and then just by Medvedev standing too far back, not being pressured and just get complete control of the rallies and pushed him around. Medvedev played the good, consistent game. Alcaraz played at an extreme high level, bossed him around, dominated him, 6-3, 6-3, 6-3. And once Medvedev's normal, consistent game, standing back, getting him rallied, he was just bossed around, pushed around, overpowered. Once he got sick of being overpowered and pushed around, he tried to go for too much power near the lines to try to take risks and get back control over the points. But all that was errors, and that was him having to change his game because his normal rally game, consistent game, wasn't working because he's being overpowered, pushed around, caught out for standing too far back on the volleys and the drop shots. He had to go for more power. His normal game wasn't working. He was just being pushed around too much. And then, like I said, you try to get back control of the rallies. You have to change your game from your normal rally game because it's not working to an attacking game by going for a lot of power on the line, and you make errors, and then Alcaraz wins. And then when you go back to your normal game, Alcaraz just overpowers you, beats you with the drop shots. And then when you don't want to be pushed around, you've got to not play your normal rally game and go for power near the lines. But that's not your game, so it's not going to work. So you make errors. So Alcaraz too good. 6-3, 6-3, 6-3. So let's get into the final preview, Wimbledon final preview. Alcaraz, Djokovic. I mean, I originally predicted Djokovic to win this one, right, guys? I just felt like, he's won Wimbledon 7 times, right, guys? And Alcaraz has only played I think it was 4 professional grass matches, 6 professional grass matches before this year. 2021, he played the first round, second round Wimbledon, didn't play a warm up. 2022, he played Hurlingham exhibition, but they're not professional matches. Then he played 4 matches in Wimbledon. He made the 4th round last year, lost to Sinner. So that's 6 professional matches versus Djokovic winning this thing 7 times, not losing a match on centre court for 10 years, winning the last 4 Wimbledons played, 2018, 2019, 2021, 2022. He's going to tie the record for the most ever Wimbledons with Federer with 8. So for a guy to just walk in who's only played 6 professional grass matches, there's not even grass courts in Spain, and say, I'm going to just beat a guy who's dominated here. It's very difficult, and I was going to go with Djokovic, as good as Alcaraz is. I feel like in the Grand Slams, Alcaraz is better suited to winning the French Open and the US Open, while Djokovic is better suited to here and the Australian Open. But even the Australian Open is better for Alcaraz because Alcaraz is better on hard court and clay. They both have a lot of experience winning on hard court and clay. So those surfaces are more even, where you can just say they've both won a lot, they've both played a lot, they've both got a lot of success. But here it's like Alcaraz, 6 professional matches on grass, Djokovic, 7 Wimbledons won. So it's very different than the other two, where you just say they both have a lot of success on those other two, hard court and clay. Here it's like 6 matches to 7 Wimbledons, and it just seemed like Alcaraz had no chance. But I mean, I've been watching how they've been playing. Alcaraz just came in despite the 6 matches, lost his first set of the first tournament in Queens, and never lost another set again. Didn't just win Queens because maybe the opposition isn't as great. He dominated. Didn't lose a set. Okay? Um, and for someone with no experience, that's like even players who play every year on grass, like Nadal, who's from Spain, they take time to adjust. But he didn't have that where I play every year. I just need time to get used to it. They shoot 6 matches in his life, and he just came on there like he'd been doing it his whole life. Won 5 matches in a row in straight sets, basically, because he just lost the first set of the first match. Then continued with first round, second round, then had a couple of 4 set matches, third and fourth round. But now he's won 9 sets in a row since being down a set to Berrettini. Won 3 in a row from a set down. Rune in straight sets, now Medvedev. These are all great players. Berrettini, been in a Wimbledon final. Rune's played at a high level. Then Medvedev, he's been the best player outside Nadal and Djokovic the last few years, and maybe outside Clay, the second best to Djokovic. He was destroyed here. Whereas Djokovic, I saw like there were a few big points in the Rublev match that could have decided, and a few critical errors from Rublev, and he got away with it, and it's just borderline. And if he was a bit better, Rublev could have maybe got that. Same today, it was 3 sets, but they were all close. Came down to a few critical points where it made, but there were some errors from Sinner. If he was a bit better, he would have a chance of it. So when I see that, and I see Rublev was good when he didn't go for too much power, he played on the court, tried to play a rally, consistent with power and patience, and trying to win in 4 or 5 shots with power, not trying to go for the line and win it right away. When he did that, Djokovic looked in trouble. When Sinner did that, he looked in trouble. And that's Alcaraz's game. So Alcaraz won't just do it for a small amount of time and then make errors and go away. He's going to be doing this to Djokovic the whole time. And Djokovic looked vulnerable against the consistent power. But there'd be no get out card. Alcaraz is going to keep that consistent power all the time. What Rublev had him in a bit of trouble, right? And what Sinner really made it tough for him, but it won't go away where they just stop with the consistent power and make errors. Alcaraz is going to keep going with that. That's caused Djokovic trouble, and he won't go away. There'll be no let up. And Djokovic hasn't done well against that. He's been in a situation where the other player wasn't good enough to do it consistently. Alcaraz is good enough, right? So I don't know how Djokovic is going to handle that. And I just look and I just say Alcaraz is playing better than Djokovic. I mean, right now, and I just don't think he's afraid of this challenge. And I think he's got everything Djokovic has in his game, like the backhand. His backhand's just about as good. Djokovic return of serve, the attacking return of serve on the back line. Alcaraz is doing that. I thought these two things, Djokovic was better, but Alcaraz has improved. And then the areas Alcaraz is strong, like he's got more power on the forehand. He's got a way better forehand than Djokovic, and that's his strength. But on Djokovic's strength, backhand, return of serve, he's almost matching. He's getting close. And then other things like if they're equal on the serve, return, the rally game, the intangibles, things like the net, like if they're equal in all these areas, the intangibles, things like net play and drop shots can push one player a bit over the line. Alcaraz is better there. He's got more power in offense, so he's better offensively, but he's younger and faster than Djokovic, so he's better defensively. And I just think if he doesn't get nervous and doesn't get edgy, I think he's playing better. I think he can win this. I think Djokovic just plays a good, consistent game. But a lot of times when power guys get hot and play a really elite level, that consistent level is not enough for Djokovic. right? And he loses against that high level. But if you don't produce it, he'll win. So if Alcaraz does get nervous and can't play at his best level, this good consistent level that Djokovic plays will probably be enough. But if Alcaraz plays his best, I just think his game is at a higher level than Djokovic, and I just think the match is on his racket. If he can play his best, he's got all the things Djokovic has and more, and he can overpower him. He can be better defensively, offensively, match Djokovic on return of serve and backhand, but be way better than him on the forehand. I think he can do this. But I think for Djokovic, when you look at his game, a very important part for Djokovic, like he plays Alcaraz like he's Nadal. But the problem is Djokovic against Nadal has a better serve and return of serve. So he starts the point ahead on fast courts with the first and second serve, getting a short ball, getting in a rally, and then moving Nadal around, starting ahead with a short ball and bossing Nadal around in the rally. Then on Nadal's second serve, he attacks with these deep, great returns on the back line, then gets control of the rally and pushes Nadal around. So Nadal's always on defense. And it's only on Nadal's first serve he may get ahead, but even sometimes there it's a 50-50 point because of Djokovic's return. And 75% Nadal's under pressure, and then Djokovic can go into the forehand and rush him where he doesn't have time to set up, go to the backhand and pick and choose where he's going to go. He has enough power to get through a good defender on a grass court when he's starting the point ahead. So, but the problem is Alcaraz is a better server than Nadal, and maybe as good as Djokovic or better. So instead of saying Djokovic is better at the serve and return of serve than Nadal, against Alcaraz, they're both equal on the serve. And even on the attacking return of serve, they're both doing that. Whereas Djokovic and Nadal, Djokovic has the better serve and the better return of serve. Here it's much more even. So if Djokovic doesn't win the serve return battle, then it could just come down to the rallies and the power and the better defense for Alcaraz. And I just feel like he can win these 50-50 rallies. Djokovic is going to do this. He's going to go fast through the court to Alcaraz's forehand and deep and hope that Alcaraz will go to his backhand to deny him forehand and then go into the forehand fast and hard and deep and rush Alcaraz and not give him time to set up on the forehand and pressurize him there. A huge part of this game for Djokovic that he must have to win, right? He must return great because what he wants to do is, like I said with Nadal, is serve great first and second serve, get short balls, control Alcaraz, and then he has the power to even get through, even though he doesn't have big, huge, powerful shots, he has enough power on a fast grass court to end points and get through even a fast defender like Alcaraz. So once he gets on top, you can move him around, you can finish the point, and even as fast as Alcaraz is, Djokovic can get past Alcaraz and finish the point. But then if Alcaraz, for his serve, gets short balls and then hammers on the forehand, he's not pushing him around until he gets past the defense. He's just 1-2, bang. So they're both dictating off the serve. But Djokovic has to do it over 4 or 5, Alcaraz over one shot. I favour Alcaraz in it. By the way, Djokovic can change it if he can do what he does against Nadal, is start the point ahead on the first and second serve, get a short ball, push him around. Over time, he can get in that rally through the fast defender and finish the point through it because of the fast grass court. And Alcaraz can never get out of that defensive position. He's always pushed around, rushed, never has time to set up on the forehand. But if Djokovic on the second serve can attack Alcaraz's second serve, get it deep on the back line and make it where there are 50-50 rallies some of the time, other times where it's getting so deep it's right at his feet, where he's actually getting control of the rally and getting to push Alcaraz around, then Djokovic is starting all the points ahead on his serve, but on Alcaraz's serve he's getting 50-50 points, he's getting some points where he's starting ahead, and Alcaraz has to struggle and fight just to hold serve in these 50-50 rallies, and sometimes he's behind and Djokovic is ahead in the point and struggling, whereas Djokovic on his serve gets it easy. He gets to start the point ahead, control the point, and you can finish the point off through the grass court like that. So if he serves great, that will help Djokovic hugely. And he's going to be starting 75% of the points ahead maybe. He can go to the backhand, he can rush Alcaraz on the forehand. Alcaraz can be rushed and pressurized and never set up. But for Djokovic to do that, there's a very small area on the court he can hit. If it's just a bit short inside the back line, Alcaraz will have time to set up and hammer a forehand and dictate all his serving points with a forehand behind the serve. And he'll get just as much control over the rallies on his service game as Djokovic does. So Djokovic has to go deeper. He has to hit the back line. But then if he goes too deep and misses the line, then he's getting errors. So he can't be too much in the line, but he can't go over the back line. He's got to hit that back line, and he's got to consistently do it for 5 sets. Producing that return is key for Djokovic, because then, like I said, he controls all the rallies on his serve, and he forces Alcaraz to have 50-50 rallies on his serve. And that's when he can go into the backhand, rush Alcaraz on the forehand, make Alcaraz's game a fight, but all his service game is controlling the rallies and rushing Alcaraz, and Alcaraz never is always rushed, never has time to set up on the forehand. But if he can't do that, he's either missing the back line, giving Alcaraz 3 points, or hitting it inside the back line, and Alcaraz has the one serve plus forehand, right? Which means he's winning his service points on a serve plus a forehand, whereas Djokovic has, even though he's got control, he doesn't have that huge forehand, so he's having to win it over 4 or 5 shots, and it's much more easier work for Alcaraz. And then in the long run, Alcaraz is going to be the better player. And then for Alcaraz, if he can actually attack Djokovic's second serve, the way he's been doing in this tournament, just as much as Djokovic is attacking his second serve, then they're going to cancel each other out. And then the serve, they're going to cancel each other out. So for them, it'll just come down to Alcaraz having more offense and power to finish points, and Alcaraz being faster and better defense, and he'll win. Djokovic needs this serve and return battle. And I feel like he can do it with the serve, but he can't let Alcaraz also do it just as easy with the serve plus forehand. And the key for that is Djokovic having this great returning day where he can't hit a bit inside the baseline, can't hit it out, and has to hit that back line consistently. And he needs that. And if he can't do it, he probably can't win. And it's very hard to say there's just a tiny error on the court at the back line, and you have to do against fast Alcaraz serves for a fast court, make them consistently hit the back line. And if you can't do that, you can't win. That might seem very hard, but Djokovic is the best returner in the world, steps up in these big matches. And if he can do that, as hard as it is, he can probably win. But it's requiring consistently getting Alcaraz's fast serves back and getting them deep and taking the forehand behind the serve, and then getting control over a lot of the rally shots, making them a lot of 50-50 rallies on Alcaraz's serve, and having some where he starts the point ahead, even on Alcaraz's serve, with the deep return. And on his serve, he also starts the point ahead, and he's going into the backhand. He's putting Alcaraz on the back foot. He's rushing Alcaraz on the forehand, and once he's in control of the point, because it's a fast grass court, he has the power to finish the point and get through Alcaraz. So much depends on Djokovic being able to get that return deep on the back line against Alcaraz's serve. Extremely hard to do consistently, but he's the best returner in the world. Can he produce that? We'll see. If not, it's both guys with short balls behind the serve, controlling the point, but Alcaraz having the time to set up and crush forehands. Djokovic still having to move them around in 4 or 5 set shots, and then Alcaraz, and then maybe Alcaraz for himself attacking Djokovic's second serve as much as Djokovic attacks him, cancelling it out, and then it just comes down to Alcaraz has more power to finish the point, better drop shots, which are important on grass, and better volleys, better attacking play all round, and then being younger and faster and better defense, and to be ahead of Djokovic if he can cancel it out. And that either happens by Djokovic not being able to return consistently at the back line, and he gets a serve plus forehand, or when Djokovic does attack and hit the back line and does return great, he can also attack Djokovic's second serve. In either sense, cancel it out. It comes down to 50-50 rallies. He has now time to set up, can overpower Djokovic to be better offensively and better with the drop shots and net play and better defensively. But for Djokovic, it's about using the serve, starting the point ahead, and making sure you're attacking Alcaraz's second serve, and on his first serve, at least trying to get into some 50-50 rallies. So Djokovic getting these deep returns is critical for him, and then he can rush and pressurize Alcaraz. But so much comes down to Djokovic be able to get the ball deep on the return consistently, and for Alcaraz, he wants to get short balls and set up on the forehand. But if Djokovic does have a great returning day, hits it deep, the only thing Alcaraz can do is return just as well and go after Djokovic's second serve, and then he can cancel that out. But if Djokovic can do those returns and Alcaraz can't return on his second serve the same way, that's when Djokovic can be in control of 75% of the rallies. He can finish the point, he can get past Alcaraz, he can rush him where he doesn't have time to set up in the forehand, attack the backhand. But Alcaraz, on the other hand, needs to say, if you're returning deep and pressurizing my serve, I have to do it back to you, or you have to not be returning that great. I need to be my serve good enough to set up the forehand and take away your deep return. But Djokovic's ability to have the deep returns, if he can do that and Alcaraz can't, that's key. But I think when you look at everything in this match, I just think Alcaraz is playing better. I think he's got more offense than I think he's matching Djokovic on the serve and the attacking return on the second serve. In the rallies, he's got more power on the first strike tennis to overpower Djokovic. He's got more drop shots on the low bouncing surface, and he's got more net play. And then the defense part, he's got more. He's a bit more faster than Djokovic too, and he's just playing on fire and playing better now. And he's won 11 out of 11 on grass. So I'm going to say Alcaraz wins in 5 sets. I'm about 51% sure Alcaraz wins. 49% for Djokovic, I would say. If these before the quarterfinals, I was going for Djokovic just because he's won this 7 times. Alcaraz has won it, has only played 6 matches on grass before this year. So it's clear this is the best place for Djokovic to play, a place he's dominated, a surface Alcaraz has hardly played. Hardcourt and clay, they've both been successful. So that's why I thought that. But it would have been very hard to change my mind, but because Alcaraz has been so extremely good and quite a lot better than Djokovic, I'm going to give it to him in 5. But if Djokovic did win, I wouldn't be surprised because Alcaraz, as good as he is still new on the surface. We might just not have seen his weaknesses and how he's new to the surface and how he's not as great as he's going to be later when he gets more time. We might not have seen that exposed because he hasn't played a high enough level. Djokovic's level of winning 7 Wimbledons, he may bring that to the table, and it may show up that Alcaraz is not ready to be that great on grass yet due to his limited time. So I wouldn't be surprised if Djokovic did that, but I just think Alcaraz looks to be ready. He's playing great. He's better offensively and defensively. And if he can just mentally be in a good place to play his absolute best tennis, he can beat Djokovic. If he's nervous, Djokovic gets it. But I've talked about the tactics, the mental side, but I just think even with all the experience that Djokovic has, and that I thought that would be enough, especially against Alcaraz, hardly playing in grass. Alcaraz is just on this court where they'll be playing the final. I've just produced 2 great tennis and is playing at a better level than Djokovic. And I feel like after what happened at the French Open, where he waited like so long, like to be in a situation like that, playing in a tough match against Djokovic, 1 set or 1 game more, such a big match, then the cramps happen and it's all taken away. I feel like that was like the worst moment of his career, and he's been so hungry to get back in this position in a big match against Djokovic in the Grand Slam. He's got it in the Wimbledon final, and I just think that upset him. He's been waiting so long, and he's got so much fire in his belly to get another chance against Djokovic. To just watch Djokovic run over the top of him when he was helpless, that hurt him, and he just wanted to have another shot at this. And he's just going to be so determined, so pumped up. And with the level he's playing, I just think he's going to get there. But it could go either way. And if Djokovic wins, I won't be surprised. But I just think too much offense and too much speed and too good on the drop shots and the net play. and even on the ways like the Djokovic is over Nadal, having a better serve and a better attacking return of serve. Alcaraz is even matching him on the serve, attacking return of serve, and even pretty much matching him on the backhand. So I just think he's going to be too good. 5 sets for Alcaraz, I'm saying, but I'm about 51% sure. If Djokovic wins, I'm very not surprised. And if it wasn't for these quarterfinals and semifinals where Alcaraz has been playing better, and players who showed consistent power like Alcaraz for short periods, getting Djokovic in trouble. If it wasn't for that, I would have said Djokovic because of all he's done and the limited experience for Alcaraz. But Alcaraz just reached this extreme level, and he's just got everything Djokovic has and more, attack and defense. So I'm giving it to Alcaraz in 5, but only just. I wouldn't be surprised if Djokovic wins, but having to make a prediction, I'm going to say it's just slightly more likely Alcaraz would win. So Alcaraz in 5 sets. But so much comes down to, does he play his best tennis and catch fire, or is he nervous? If he's nervous, Djokovic wins. If he can mentally be okay and play his best, he can just be too good for Djokovic and just overpower him. But I'm just going to say, on the balance of probabilities, he will play his best game. He's been waiting for this moment since it was taken away at the French Open, and he's going to capitalize. He's going to win it in 5. So that's my video for today. Subscribe, bell notification, thumbs up, and I'm predicting Carlos Alcaraz will be your 2023 Wimbledon champion. But subscribe, bell notification, thumbs up. I'll come back in a couple of days and I'll review this final, so be back to that. Like I said, not surprised if Djokovic wins too, but we're going to look at who won and how they did it in a few days from now. So subscribe, bell notification, thumbs up. Be back here in a couple of days. And thanks for being with me. Thanks for watching, guys. Don't forget to subscribe. Be back in a few days. Bye for now. Thanks for being with me.